Now we are going to enjoy this episode. No one can stop us from enjoying this episode, so enjoy it. Stop crying. All right, welcome to It's Always Sunny in Hollywood. I'm your host, Red Drumarts. Why don't you guys introduce yourself?
Hi, I'm Patrick, and I'm going to enjoy this episode because I don't have a choice.
And I'm Lugia, and pretty much on the same boat here.
We swear we're gonna have fun because we're talking about Shyamalan today.
Yeah, well, in my opinion, we're talking about his good movies. But yeah, we will see what you guys think soon.
We'll
Okay.
we'll get we'll get to Shyamalan, but first,
So
first,
first, today was a very this week was a very depressing week because just a lot of people died. Like if you remember last week I mentioned one of the Bogdanov twins
Bogdanov.
died. Yes, unfortunately, about 1 week after his brother died, the other one died. So, condolences to their family and all. Out of pure coincidence, Peter Bogdanovich passed away. They have no association with the Bogdanovs. They just have a similar name. But Peter Bogdanovich is a very well-known, respected director. He was close friends with Orson Welles and even restored Orson Welles' final film. He spent like years working on that one, so that's pretty cool. The movies that you might be familiar with that he directed is he directed The Last Picture Show and Paper Moon. If you are familiar with those two,
They sound familiar, but I've not seen them.
yeah. Also directed What's Up Doc from 1972, Barbra Streisand. No association with Looney Tunes. And then the last one was actor Sidney Poitier, who is the first black actor to win the Oscars.
Hmm.
Yes, so
May
very
they all
sad.
rest. May
Yeah,
they all
may
rest
they
in
rest
peace.
in
Unfortunate,
peace.
but
I was just gonna say, while we're on the subject of sad news, this isn't death related, but it is unfortunate news. Pixar got fucked over again thanks to the
Mm.
pandemic. Turning Red, their next movie, is skipping theaters and releasing on Disney Plus. Third Pixar film in a row to go straight to the service, so
Yeah,
that's unfortunate.
it's weird how Pixar is the one branch that Disney is doing this to because all the other movies they're still releasing in theaters. You know, and they
Mm-hmm.
haven't. Marvel they're still releasing in theater. Even Disney they're releasing in theaters. Like it took like Encanto was in there for at least like 2 weeks before they decided to release on Disney Plus.
It was in theaters for a month before they put
Yeah,
it on. Yeah.
yeah. Like
No,
I'm not
but
expecting like it to not be on Disney Plus, but like I hope at least a little bit of time in theaters, especially since this is Pixar's first movie directed by an Asian woman, I
yeah,
believe.
their first movie directed by a woman and plopping it
And
on Disney Plus. I thought they would delay it. Like I thought they'd like switch it to summer and like move Lightyear to fall.
I think they just want money
Um,
to be made here and now.
yeah,
I
I
guess.
yeah. To be fair, apparently, their previous movies that they put their previous Pixar movies they put on there, they like did really well. Like they did
Mm-hmm.
good numbers for the service. So I think they figured like Pixar is a good draw for Disney Plus, especially kids and all.
Yeah, but if you wanted to do that,
Uh,
I don't know, do a simultaneous release, I guess.
yeah, yeah. That's what I figured. I know.
I don't know.
I remember like apparently Encanto's Disney Plus numbers were really good. Like a lot of people start talking about it more once it put on Disney Plus. So I don't know if
Yes,
Disney's gonna
more
release
people,
any of their
more people
non-Marvel
started,
movies anymore.
more people started talking about Bruno.
Yeah,
No, my suggestion box on YouTube has been like filled with like Encanto stuff.
I'm not
yeah,
surprised.
yeah. Same. Jesus, I was on TikTok and all I ever get is people talking about licorice pizza and Encanto. Yeah,
Mm-hmm.
Netflix announced that the comic book is getting a new adaptation from the anime studio Science Saru. That's Yuasa Studio. They're responsible for Devilman Crybaby and 2020's hit anime Keep Your Hands Off Izuken. I'm looking forward to it. This is a great studio, and you know, I think the Scott Pilgrim comic's much better than the movie. So like, and there's a lot of stuff in the comic that obviously got cut from the movie. So yeah, it's nice that's finally gonna get a full adaptation.
I believe the anime is also going to be written by Brian Lee O'Malley himself.
Yes, yeah,
Hmm.
or he's at least gonna be like heavily involved.
And speaking of good news, rejoice because Mario Kart 9 is officially a thing.
Fucking
Uh,
finally!
and apparent, all we know is that it's gonna happen. It hasn't been officially revealed yet, But apparently, according to an interview with somebody, it's going to feature a quote new twist.
A lot of
So
people are speculating this is going to be the Smash Brothers of Mario Kart, or
yeah,
a Nintendo Kart, if you will.
I saw something about that. I don't know if you guys could like add like a gimmick to Mario Kart. What would you do?
Um, I just like
Bring back Funky Kong.
I mean, like a gameplay gimmick.
I don't know. I'd rip off like other racing games. I don't know. People
Bring back
joke that
Double
like
Dash mechanics, because I don't really know where we can go after anti-gravity.
yeah. Well, I mean, people joke that Mario Kart 8 was basically just an F-Zero thing.
Well, there were two F-Zero tracks, so.
Yeah. So like I don't know, maybe
And you
like
could even
toss in
unlock the
some
Blue
Crash Team
Falcon as a
Racing.
cart piece.
Yeah.
So like I don't know, maybe I'd toss in some elements from like Crash Team Racing or Sonic Racing Transformed.
Make like an adventure mode like Diddy Kong Racing did. That'd
Yeah.
be fun.
Yeah. I mean, I don't know, toss in some elements from Sonic Racing's Transformed. Maybe like Mario turns into a boat at one point.
We'll just have to wait and see until like they officially unveil this thing.
It's been 8 years since Mario Kart 8 came out.
Well, the last new Mario Kart game that wasn't a port was the mobile game.
We don't talk about that one.
Yeah, I've never played it, but I've heard things.
Okay, and I guess last news is Netflix. This is a good week for animation for Netflix, I guess, because they announced a stop motion horror anthology series. Looks very like Wes Anderson or like Buddy Thunderstruck, if you're familiar with that show. And it comes out January 14th, which is pretty cool.
Yeah, you got a lot of horror options January 14th. You got Scream, you got Hotel Transylvania 4, and you got this, The House.
Yeah,
So,
and
Halloween's come early this year.
yeah, and I guess we're going to be talking about kind of slight horror thing too.
Yeah.
So let's transition to that.
Sure thing. Shyamalan.
Yes, M. Night Shyamalan. So I guess
I was
first
about
we'll
to say
talk
that.
about Signs. So Signs was off the hit success off of Shyamalan's previous two movies, Unbreakable and The Sixth Sense, which were both pretty sizable hits, and this was also a pretty sizable hit. I believe this movie is what led to a lot of people dubbing Shyamalan the new Spielberg, because he kind of went from thrillers with like lots of twists to this I guess this sci-fi thing. So I guess in their eyes, it's kind of went from like Jaws to like Close Encounters type deal. But yeah, we received critical acclaim. Got like 74% on Rotten Tomatoes. M. Night Shyamalan gave the film. Roger Ebert gave the film 4 to 4 stars. Two thumbs up.
Shyamalan gave his own film 4 to 4 stars.
Good job, audacity of this man.
Obama giving himself a medal meme.
Yeah, people praise his good direction with suspense and giving the audience chills. I guess some criticisms. People didn't like the twist, although some people have argued that Shyamalan wasn't really trying to have a twist, but people just kind of assume he's a twist guy after he did 2 movies in a row that had twists. But yeah, it grossed about $400 million against a budget of $72 million. And the cast stars Mel Gibson as the main character, his son Joaquin Phoenix, Rory Culkin, who is Macaulay Culkin and Kieran Culkin's brother, and M. Night Shyamalan himself has a small role. And I'm pretty sure this movie was parodied in like Scary Movie 3 or something, because in the 2000s every movie was parodied by a scary movie at some point.
I've only seen Scary Movie 4. I'm gonna come back to that though. Just keep that in the back of your head. I'll explain later.
Okay. And yeah, this was biggest opening weekend of Mel Gibson's career and earned more than Disney's previous best for live-action non-sequel not based on popular material, which was Pearl Harbor.
It's technically a Disney film because it was released by Touchstone. How about
yes.
that?
Yeah, this also it made 227 million domestically, and then the rest was international, so about 200 million each, and it ranked only behind The Sixth Sense in Shyamalan's box office success, because Unbreakable was actually like a much more low-key hit. It wasn't huge for him.
So what is Signs about?
Okay,
Take a
so
guess.
Signs is basically a alien invasion movie. So like takes place in the rural Pennsylvania, and we followed this former priest, Father Graham Hess. He has a son, Morgan, who has asthma, a younger daughter, Bo, and Graham has a younger brother. Okay, so Joaquin Phoenix's character is actually his brother, not his son. Sorry, I misspoke there.
Yeah, I was gonna say something
Yeah.
before.
Yeah, and he's a failed minor league baseball player, and they have been living on the farm though. He has been living on the farm since Graham's wife passed away in a car accident. And we see this in a series of flashbacks. Graham kind of lost his religious faith and been in the church. Anyway, crop circles appear on the farm, and basically it's like a family drama with sort of an alien invasion plot in the background. Yeah, and a lot of religious elements.
Yeah, this
Personally, I
movie,
was
this movie.
oh, go on.
Sorry, I was gonna say, yeah, this movie does have like a theme of like destiny and like miracles, or like whether you believe in luck.
Yeah.
Yeah.
We can talk about the
Just-
ending later, but let's just say
Yeah.
overall, what was your thoughts?
I've said before of the Shyamalan movies I've seen. I've only seen Last Airbender and Sixth Sense, so I've seen both the good and the bad of him. I really liked this one. This is definitely
Yeah.
more. This is definitely more Sixth Sense than it is Last Airbender. I was very impressed with this. I was very engaged with it. A few flaws here and there, but overall, I enjoyed myself very much.
Okay, so my thoughts on Signs. Signs is my favorite M. Night Shyamalan movie, and honestly, one of my
Really?
favorite movies in general.
Really?
Yeah.
Huh.
Yes. Honestly, this might be surprising to you, but Village is my second favorite. Like, people are always like, "Oh, Unbreakable and Signs are the best two." I'm like, nah. Honestly, I think I like Signs and Village more. I'll admit they are messier movies than Sixth Sense and Unbreakable, but I appreciate it like more. I feel like they're a bit more like risk taken. I like a lot of the ideas they throw out a lot more, and they're very beautifully shot and well directed. Like honestly, like what do you think of like the cinematography actually?
I think the
While we're on that.
cinematography for Signs was really good.
Yeah.
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 I know Roger Deakins shot The Village. Who shot this one? Let me check. Cinematography was by Tak Fujimoto, who also did the cinematography for The Sixth Sense and also Silence of the Lambs.
Huh.
And he also did a Terrence Malick movie, Badlands. So yeah, very good cinematographer.
Okay, so Red, you and me, we both like this movie. Lugia, what do you got?
Okay, so my history with Shyamalan is not a very positive one. I've only seen The Last Airbender and Lady in the Water, both of which were fucking atrocious. I will
Yeah.
say, Signs is much better than both those movies, but I'm not overly positive on it either. I think overall it was fine.
Okay, that's fair.
It was
all right.
it was unintentionally funny though in some areas.
I guess once again, I'm the middle ground between you guys.
Yes.
Yeah.
So, just a couple of things that I found really humorous, like Ted Sutton as Cunningham, or not Cunningham.
Sergeant, oh my god.
Yes.
He never closes his mouth.
No, to me, he looked like he was just putting on a Jim Carrey Grinch face. That's his character.
Okay, yeah, that was kind of funny. Actually, one thing that I thought was kind of funny was when Mel Gibson's character is at like the pharmacy or whatever, and he's hearing this girl's confession, and there's just this old man that leans into view from behind him. I thought that was
No,
funny.
the best part
that
for
got a
me
good chuckle
though,
out of me.
the best part for me was when Joaquin Phoenix's character discovers the alien from a news broadcast. You can just see the alien walking by, doing a sideways walk, looking at the camera. And I
See,
love
one was very funny. Is,
I love his
when
reaction to that too.
You know what's funny is that when I actually talked to people who like saw the movie when it first came out, a lot of people said that moment scared the shit out of them as a kid. So this is
Yeah, I
almost kind
saw
of
that
funny.
in a comment section of a clip from that movie, and
Yeah, that movie,
I
that
found that
scene was like
interesting.
considered like incredibly scary back then. So nowadays it's kind of funny. So I'm just thinking that some of the funny moments might just be like stuff that made people uncomfortable in horror movies and makes it funny today. Like when I watch like some older horror movies, like a lot of it cracks me up, but I know back then that was actually scary. So
We should also keep in mind this movie is 20 years old.
Yeah,
yeah,
2002.
yeah. So some of the horror elements might not work for you, but I still think like a lot of the family drama elements kind of work
I mean, I
still
still
work
liked
on
it.
its own. Yeah, because like
The fact that I
I was
found it
gonna say,
funny doesn't mean that I found it bad per se.
yeah.
Yeah.
Okay, I'm gonna bring like a modern example. So Hereditary is considered sort of like the great horror movie of the 2010s, and when I saw it, I'd say yeah, it was pretty scary, but there are a lot of moments in there where I'm like, this is gonna be fucking hilarious in 10 years. I know people are gonna laugh. Like, have either of you seen Hereditary?
No.
No.
Okay, I'm not gonna spoil it then, but there's this turning point that happens in the movie where the like turning point of the movie is kind of hilarious in how morbid it is, and I feel like people are gonna laugh at that scene when like people watching it now they're like, oh my god, what the fuck? But like once people get kind of like used to that kind of shit, they're gonna see that like years back and be like, that's just kind of funny. Like that's what I feel. That
Well,
because we're
before
kind of used to it, it's not as scary anymore.
before we move away from the stuff that was unintentionally funny, there was one other thing that I did find kind of funny. There was that whole conversation like near the beginning of the movie about what could have been on their house, and they start talking about like female Olympians, and it goes on for like 2 minutes.
I'm gonna be honest, I really like the kind of weird dialogue they have, but yeah,
Yeah, I'm like that is
I get
that
that.
is that is I like I get the Olympics are coming up, buddy, but like lay out your
It
options.
had to have been a man, damn it.
And
No,
that was
this movie,
that was like so weird, but it was also kind of funny.
yeah, this movie has like very weird dialogue, but it's like very fun, memorable dialogue in my opinion. Like I the opening quote that I opened this episode with is like, "We're gonna enjoy this meal, so enjoy it." I fucking love that scene. Like that's
From,
great.
even though I haven't seen many Shyamalan films, from what I understand, that's kind of like a staple, like weird dialogue.
Yeah, I mean, here's a lot of directors have weird dialogue. Like, if we're being perfectly honest, nobody talks like they do in Tarantino movies, but we still enjoy it, you know?
Well,
Because it's engaging. The
nobody
way they
talks
Yeah.
like they
talk.
do in movies in general.
Yeah, yeah. There's a lot more like stammering and ums and stuff. But
No,
yeah,
but like a lot of
Like
reviews
what we're
I've seen
doing
of
right now.
Shyamalan movies,
yeah,
they talk about the
yeah,
dialogue and like
yeah.
how strange it is at times.
Like even like Noah Baumbach, his movies are praised for naturalistic dialogues, but he almost like exaggerates the naturalistic elements of it, so like it's still like not real, but like yeah. Here some weird dialogue, but I liked it. I thought it was kind of it was engaging. I think the actors definitely sold it.
Mm-hmm.
The kid though, his doggo is particularly weird, but like honestly, it didn't bother me much, mostly because kids are pretty weird, so I could like see him say like some weird
I
shit,
like
but
how
like
the kid was
performance is fine.
the most informed when it came to how alien invasions work. That's why his dialogue was so weird but so funny.
Yeah, I mean to be fair though, if an alien invasion happened when I was like his age, yeah, I 100% would have known more than my parents because you know I watched movies and like TV shows of alien. Remember that Cartoon Network that had that whole like day where there was nothing but alien invasion episodes?
I don't remember that.
Vaguely,
Cartoon
vaguely.
Network invaded. Okay, and like it was the same aliens invading each episode too. Yeah, they had this weird like sort of special like the Family Guy Hurricane special where just like all their shows involved an alien invasion and it was the same aliens too. It was like yeah, it was kind of funny.
I will say that like the setup of this movie, like explaining like the basic plot, it sounds pretty bland, all things considered. Like, what's it about? Alien invasion, and there's crop circles.
Yeah, I
Woo!
remember when I first like read the premise, I was like, huh, I wonder how he's gonna like
Yeah,
make this work as a feature length film. But oddly,
it's a pretty generic like concept, but like I think like what they did with like the whole like theme about like destiny and luck and like how they like develop the characters, I think it all really worked. Like to add a lot more to it.
yeah. Let's see. One of my favorite scenes, besides the dinner scene, was when they were all like holding hands and shit to like get the radio to work.
Oh yeah, yeah.
Yeah, I thought that seems like a nice sort of family
That's
bonding
how you get a
moment.
Wi-Fi signal going,
Yeah.
baby.
It was
Yeah.
also neat how the flashbacks of Graham's with Graham's wife. It was neat how that like slowly came into play throughout the movie. Like you slowly reveal like how the events unfolded. I thought that was neat. How like her last words kind of helped them save the day.
Yeah, yeah.
I think
Some
the
people like
ending
don't like that part, but I like that. Yeah.
I think
Go
the
on.
ending hit pretty good.
Yeah,
With
like
Yeah, the way everything's sort of like tied together at the end, and like it's a little corny, but like
Yeah, like the little
We
girl,
all
like
appreciate corniness here.
she would leave glasses of water everywhere, and I'm like, where the fuck are they going with this? And they brought it back around. I believed it,
Yeah,
and I'm like, holy crap.
even the asthma stuff, and
The 3-year-old
uh,
girl is the most intelligent character in the whole movie.
okay, now since we're actually talking about the ending, I think you know that a lot of people they like this movie up until the ending, where they think that the ending kind of ruins it. So I hear from you guys you actually like the ending, which is interesting. But a lot of people don't like the whole fact that the aliens are weak to water thing, and I have like two defenses and interpretations of that. That like one, did that bother you guys at all,
No.
or did you
Nah,
like?
not at
Yeah,
all.
okay, okay, yeah. So yeah, who gives a shit? But some people, you know, they were like, oh, that bothers me. And, it's fair to get bothered by that, but I have a few defenses. One,
Aliens aren't really susceptible to water like that. How do you know?
Have
How
you
do you
met
know?
an alien before? Have you given them a
Have
glass
you?
of water?
yeah, and
You
people are
don't
like,
know
well, why?
that. Anything is
Yeah,
fucking possible.
yeah, so a lot of people's like complaints is that if they're weak to water, why did they land on a water planet? I'm like, well, one, they landed in rural Pennsylvania, so like, come on, like, and they like Brazil and shit, not places like near water. But two, I've noticed that almost every time we actually see aliens, they look scared. Like when we see them walking like that little TV thing, like it's kind of like it's kind of has like its arms in like defensive position. So I'm guessing that this was like an emergency landing on this planet, and you know, they just kind of were out of here of desperation. They're like, oh, we'll just avoid the water parts and we'll be fine. But two, with all the religious things and like them throwing the water on the thing to, and like the priest throwing the water on some monster to make it burn and stuff, I was like, this is
Oh, yeah.
this is allegory for like demons, right? This is,
Oh yeah.
and like it's about like, you know, him losing his faith, so like the devil's kind of coming to him and stuff. And yeah, I don't know. I thought it was like meant to have like religious imagery, sort of baptism, kind of warding away. Overall, I think it was a pretty good movie. You know, pretty good family rebuilding drama with some decent suspense and some funny moments, whether intentional or not.
Hmm.
So I'd give it like a 9 out of 10 because again, I really like this movie.
I agree. I was very impressed by this. Good work, Shyamalan.
I gave this a 6 out of 10, but I will say this is probably the best Shyamalan film I have seen so far. It wasn't bad.
You know,
I'll,
I'll give
Watching
that.
I
I'll say
think it
that's
was
fair.
fine.
watching this and The Village back to back, I do kind of realize like why his later movies like Last Airbender and After Earth didn't work. It's because those are like, at least in my opinion, those are like action-oriented movies, and that's not really what Shyamalan does.
Yeah, Shyamalan did mention in like his review that in like the behind the scenes for like The Village and Split, that he realized that like I kept on trying to be this big action director, this director that I wasn't. And
He's good at like these small stories that with like really big suspense building. That's what he's really good
Just
at.
give the man his
Yeah.
creative freedom back.
Like it's cool to branch out, but
yeah, I think what happened is he heard people call him the next Spielberg, and he got that in his head because Spielberg has insane range. All right, so now time to talk about The Village, M. Night Shyamalan's.
wait, are we gonna bring up movies to check out if you like Signs? Because I have a few in mind.
Oh yeah, I got a few. Close Encounters, the Steven Spielberg movie, since we're on that, and also I would say A Quiet Place. I feel like
That's
this
what
movie
I
is,
was thinking. I thought of A Quiet
yeah.
Place
See,
because
the thing is,
family of four, a farm,
yeah,
aliens,
actually,
all there.
yeah. I'm not sure if you knew this, but when A Quiet Place actually first came out, a lot of people criticized it because they thought it was so similar to Signs. They're like,
Really?
oh yeah.
Huh.
A lot of people like didn't know though because you know it's been again like 20 years since Signs came out, so a lot of people didn't even like. They're like, oh, like you know, a lot of people completely forgot about Signs, but yeah.
Actually, one movie that came to my mind actually was Chicken Little. There's two reasons for that. One, cornfield and crop circles, and two, one of the characters is a baseball champion. But unlike Chicken Little, Signs actually brought that back
Yeah.
for the ending. Whereas in Chicken Little, if you took the baseball thing out, nothing would change.
So Chicken Little but epic. I kind of find it funny how our last two episodes both talk about Chicken Little. Because I briefly talked about Don't Look Up and I
Yeah,
said it
you
was
did.
live action Chicken Little. All right, yeah.
Oh yeah.
Now,
Okay, next week we're recommending Chicken Little. No, I'm kidding.
Well,
Okay.
that's Lugia's choice.
Yes. Now The Village. So this came out
The
2 years
Village.
after The Signs, and this one went in a completely different direction, as this is a period drama thriller film. It stars Bryce Dallas Howard again, Joaquin Phoenix returns, Adrian Brody, William Hurt, even Sigourney Weaver, Brendan Gleeson. So pretty,
Sigourney Weaver.
yeah, pretty stacked cast here. Even Judy Greer's in here,
Also,
and
Jesse Eisenberg is in this movie for like
yeah, very
Yeah.
briefly.
he's like he's an extra. And the entire movie I'm like, that looks like him, but I can't be sure.
No, it
Then he
was
says
him.
one line at the end of the movie. I'm like, holy shit.
Yeah.
It was him.
And once
So,
again, M. Night Shyamalan also plays a character for a brief period of time, but he's still in there.
Mhm.
Yeah, I think M Night has like a director cameo in almost all of his movies.
Yeah,
It's
like
just-
Mel Brooks does that too.
I think he had a cameo in Lady in the Water. I'm not sure about The Last Airbender, though.
He might have not had it there. He might have just been like some random Fire Nation guy. Who
Probably.
knows?
I don't know.
But yeah, this one cinematography was done by Roger Deakins, probably the most famous cinematographer ever. And yeah, you can tell. This movie was made on a budget of 60 million, so smaller budget than Signs, and it grossed 257 million, which was yeah. It got an Oscar nomination for Best Original Score. That's pretty cool. And this one was the first Shyamalan movie to receive more mixed reviews. Still a lot of positive ones. Some people still think it's great, but a lot of people were more upset by the ending than usual. The script was actually stolen over a year before the film was released, so there are many pre-reviews of the film on several fan sites, and some people speculate on plot details. Yeah, and the film was originally titled The Woods, but the name was changed because another movie called The Woods was already like in production. I
Story
guess I'll
time.
talk about the plot now. So basically, movie starts, as far as we know, we're inside a 19th century Pennsylvania village. Again, Pennsylvania. I guess he's a big fan of Pennsylvania, or maybe he lived there. I don't know. And yeah, they basically live in this little village, and in the forest, there's these like weird humanoid monsters that surround the woods. So people are like, "Oh, you can't go out there. If you do, you got to like do some stuff."
Those who must not be named.
Yeah.
That's what
The
they
main
call them.
Voldemort.
So the main character is a blind girl played by Bryce Dallas Howard, daughter of the chief of the village, and basically informs Joaquin Phoenix's character that they have strong feelings for each other. And essentially, this movie is basically just like a romance story, but with like horror thriller elements to it, because that's Shyamalan's forte.
That's what Shyamalan do.
Yeah. That's honestly kind of it. Again, like the last movie Signs, very simple premise, and he just kind of mines a lot of character work out of it to keep it going.
Okay, guys. Remember I said Scary Movie 4 was the only one I'd seen
Yes.
Yeah.
of scary movies. I think that they parodied this like for a good portion of it, because I remember in Scary Movie 4 the main characters find themselves in this mysterious village, like excluded from the rest of the world, and there's also a blind girl. I think that's
Yeah,
think
yeah,
that
it was,
supposed to be
it
this.
was, it was.
Yeah, yeah. So
Again,
yeah.
Shyamalan was kind of oops.
Mhm.
Shyamalan was sort of the big, I guess one of the bigger horror guys at the time, so it makes sense. But yeah, I guess overall, what were your thoughts on it? We'll talk about the ending in detail later, just like before.
I'll be honest, I'm kind of lukewarm towards this one. Like I didn't
Yeah.
hate it. I didn't hate it, but I don't know. It didn't really grab me the same way Science did.
Yeah, I will say this one I definitely understand the criticisms towards it more. This is a much messier movie,
Yeah.
but I still really like it.
I'm on the
Again.
same boat as Patrick. I did not enjoy this as much as Signs, and I think it is kind of bad.
Yeah. I would say I don't think this movie really gets bad until the end. I will say the twist painfully obvious and really stupid, but I did find the core of the movie to be Bryce Dallas Howard and Joaquin Phoenix relationship to be really charming. Like there's some really good actors, and I think like some of the horror elements were executed pretty well.
I did like how this movie had two main characters, where the first half was with Lucius, who's the main character, played by Joaquin Phoenix, and the
Joaquin.
other
Yeah.
Ivy. I liked that, there's not really a whole lot there to keep me engaged, I guess. Their relationship is fine. It's nothing special.
Yeah, I think for me this was the opposite of Signs. Whereas I think Signs like got better and better as it went along. This kind of slowly lost me as it went.
Yeah. I'll definitely say that. I guess my favorite scene was when like I think Bryce Dallas Howard's character is getting chased by like those monsters in the village, and like you see Joaquin like he's having his hand out. Remember that part? And like I think the
Yeah,
music
Yeah.
was really great at that thing. I
yeah.
think that scene was like perfect. And honestly, if the rest of the movie had moments like that, this would be like amazing. But like, yeah, overall, a lot sloppier. Again, I like the core relationship and I like the cinematography, the score, horror elements, but there wasn't as much to sink your teeth in as with Signs. Signs had a lot of like little things going on, but this one was sort of a lot more stripped down, and because of that, you either like click with it or it's gonna kind of lose you.
There was one thing about this movie that I found really distracting. It's probably just me, but I was so confused by by Ivy and her character. Like she's blind, right?
Yeah.
Yes.
I did not realize that until like halfway through the movie.
Nor did I.
Because like she has a cane, but like I'm like, is she crippled? No, she can run just fine. But
I wasn't
she
aware that she
doesn't
was
really
blind
she doesn't
until she was walking around with the cane.
yeah, because like she's looking at people as like she's talking to them, but like she also knows her way around the village, and there are times when she's holding out her hand to reach for something that isn't there, like to guide her, but there's other times where she knows exactly what's in front of her.
Well, I didn't think that was that
I was
strange.
so I was so confused by like can't there's even one point where she says to Joaquin Phoenix, "I saw you at the window."
Ah,
And I'm
okay.
just like,
Okay, that's a plot
what?
hole.
I'm thinking maybe she's not like fully blind and she can like make out like
Is
vague
she like
images.
nearsighted maybe? But then her father outright says later that she is blind, that she lost her sight.
I don't know. Maybe she was like legally blind, which
I
is
don't
like a
know.
little bit different from actually
That
blind. But yeah,
I found I don't know
I don't
that I found that constantly distracting.
know. Yeah,
Like
I
like
did
every
think.
scene she was in, I'm like, can she see? Can she not see? How blind is she? Ugh.
Yeah, yeah. I do know like blind people like they are able to get around like their homes or places they've been around pretty easily. So like her getting around the village that what didn't like really well didn't surprise me because she's lived there her whole life and obviously things might not have changed much. But yeah, um,
Well, again, we don't know how long she's been blind for.
yeah. Also that. Then we got let's see. What do you think of Adrian Brody's character Noah?
I've learned one valuable lesson from them. Never cuck a mentally disabled man.
Yeah,
Um,
and then you get stabbed.
who is the actor who played Noah?
Adrian Brody.
I feel like he has definitely played a stoner in one movie.
Yeah,
Because he
has.
definitely comes across as like a stoner here.
Yeah, very Keanu Reeves.
He's like,
Um,
it's the monsters. Those who must not be named.
I thought the performances here were actually better than the signs, at least for like some characters. I think like Joaquin Phoenix in particular, he did a really standout job here. And again, I found Bryce Dallas Howard pretty likable. So what'd you think of the acting?
I
I
thought the
found
acting
it
was pretty
wooden for
good.
the most part.
What?
Fair enough. What about you,
I
Patrick?
thought it was good. Nothing. No performances really stood out to me though. To be perfectly honest, they
That's
did
fair.
well, but I don't know.
I think I guess the best parts of the movie I think we can agree is probably the technical elements because it's shot
Yeah,
very well edited, and the score is great. I'd say that's
yeah,
definitely like the part. I'd
yeah.
say like
Like,
I can
my
agree with that.
yeah
yeah,
my main
like presentation wise, this movie is great. But I don't know. Like in terms of like the story and the characters, I don't know. It just wasn't really gripping me that much.
yeah like I think this is like definitely one of the more beautifully shot movies you've seen on here. But I guess my main criticism is like I would I'd say like I do think this movie maybe needed like one or two more passes, one or two more drafts because like I think the core is pretty good, but you needed to like buff out some details. Everything that's good there though I really like.
Is this the point where we talk about the twist?
Yeah, the twist.
Yeah,
So
let's get
twist
into it.
very obvious, very stupid. I understand the thematic reasons for it because it's sort of tragedy that oh this blind girl got to see the truth, kind of, but like she also because she's blind, she doesn't actually realize the truth. I thought that part was pretty interesting, but yeah. Other than that, like the twist was kind of weak.
It
I think the
didn't really
twist was
have an effect on the overall story.
Yeah,
yeah.
it was
I
kind of like unnecessary, except for that one little thematic idea, which was cool. But I think you could have like other thematic ideas. Maybe if like it wasn't modern times, but like a little bit more modern, like maybe the 20s, then it wouldn't feel as jarring. But like, yeah, I don't know.
I think the twist is neat, and like there is like some commentary there, but it could have been handled better.
Yeah, I mean they're basically just the Amish. Is it that hard to just tell people,
Basically,
hey,
yeah.
I want to be Amish? But nah,
From what I
you have to
understand,
create weird demons.
from what I understand, I've seen a lot of people say that this movie is like an allegory for the Iraq War.
Oh,
How so?
I've not heard that
Um,
interpretation before.
I haven't really read into it. I've just seen like articles that like list uh how it was inspired by the Iraq War. I guess trying
Huh.
to censor out like a horrible reality,
Yeah, maybe
maybe.
the idea like oh wait, I get the Iraq War thing.
Because they all
Leader lying about weapons of mass destruction to sort of
yeah,
scare the people. Okay.
yeah, yeah. So like I appreciate the idea.
I thought
That is neat, but
interesting.
overall I think it could have been handled better.
Yeah, I thought the ending was more going for like a ignorance is bliss type thing because Ivy knows the whole truth, but she doesn't know that she knows it. You know, only closure is like falsehood. It's a little bit cynical, but I think he ends the movie on a more hopeful note with like her getting in time to sort of save him. But yeah,
Again, the twist
uh,
doesn't really have an impact on the overall plot. It's more or less just Ivy trying to
yeah,
save Lucius.
yeah.
Yeah.
So twist doesn't like ruin anything. It just kind of adds just like some interesting thematic ideas. But
Is it
It's
world
yeah,
building?
it's neat conceptually, but in execution it could have been better.
yeah. Overall, again, I do like this movie, so I'll go like a 7, maybe 8 out of 10.
Actually, one more thing
Because
I want to mention is
oh, go on.
sorry, this is incredibly minor, but I find it interesting how in the credits the actors are listed as the players and not cast.
Yeah, some
Yes.
movies do
Like
that.
Yeah. I
like a
think
drama production or a tragedy or something.
yeah.
Like
Maybe this was
that,
written as a play. Who knows?
maybe I don't know, but like that was neat. I'm like,
Yeah.
yeah, cool.
Oh, speaking of which, just a minor thing. What do you think of the monster design? The fake sort of monster design, I guess.
You mean
The
Red Riding Hood
boar.
porcupine? Red Riding
Yeah.
Hood porcupine. That's what I thought of.
Yeah. What do you think of that? I thought it looked kind of cool.
It was neat.
I think it looked better than the alien from Signs, which was just a CG nightmare.
Well,
Yeah.
this was actually a costume.
Yes.
Literally a costume.
Yes, literally the costume.
But even design-wise, I think it was better.
Yeah, not bad. Not bad.
So I would give this a 4 out of 10. I feel like there are some redeeming qualities behind this movie. But as a whole, eh.
Yeah, it wasn't your cup of tea.
Still,
yeah,
it's still
same
better
here.
than Lady in the Water and Last Airbender, but not by much.
Same here. I didn't hate it. It just didn't grab me. Like again, I appreciate the technicals, and I think there are some neat ideas here, but overall, I'm indifferent.
So this is a solid number 2 for me.
Yes. Okay. So recommendations. So if you like this movie, maybe check out the horror village movie called the Witch or the Vivitch. I don't know how it's pronounced. That's directed by Robert Eggers, who also directed The Lighthouse. There's also Days of Heaven by Terrence Malick. I'd recommend that. And yeah, that's a love story, period drama, sort of similar deal. No horror elements to that one, but it's got the love story thing, and Terrence Malick's one of the greatest directors ever. So, I could argue that I'd say maybe The Witch does the horror elements better, and Days of Heaven does the romance elements better, and this is sort of trying to be in between, and I guess you could argue it's in between in quality too. But well, no, actually, no, that doesn't make sense. It's because they're both better than this. But yeah, you can say like it's doesn't quite the village doesn't quite live up to those two. Those two sort of took just one element of the village and sort of amplified it. So yeah, I don't know.
Okay, so wait, was that it? You
Yep,
done?
that's it.
Okay, so we've talked about 3 horror movies in a row. Lugia, since it's your turn, I imagine you're probably gonna break the chain.
Yes,
All
I
right,
actually
cool.
have
'Cause
a choice for
I'm-
you guys.
I'm actually kind of tired of horror movies for the
Okay.
time being.
So I'm going to give you
Carry
guys
on.
a choice between a good movie and a bad movie.
Okay.
Are we gonna know both of them ahead of time, or are you gonna
Should I tell
flip
you?
this around? Yeah.
Okay,
Yeah.
so the good movie is one that I saw recently with a group of friends that I really enjoyed. It is Training Day, directed by
Oh,
Antoine Fuqua.
Okay.
okay. I've seen that a few times actually. Yeah.
And the bad movie is going to be an Adam Sandler film because we need to talk about him at some point while we're on the subject of infamous directors. And the movie I had in mind was Click.
Um.
I actually want to talk about Click, but here's the I've seen both of these movies relatively recently, but I could go with either.
Patrick?
I've seen Click before. I'm down to talk about it again. It's been like well over a decade.
Yeah, okay, Click. I guess it is.
Fuck
Click
you,
it is.
Training Day.
Yeah.
We'll get to that eventually.
Alright. I just wanted to talk about Click because, well, for one, I haven't seen it before. I haven't seen a whole lot of bad Adam Sandler films, but that is the one that I heard the most negativity about.
Really? I think it's one of his better ones. I like that
I've
movie.
I've heard like people say good things about Click.
I have like
My family. I remember my family personally didn't like it. I'll explain why when we talk about it. But I've heard more positive things about that than most of like the other movies associated with Adam Sandler.
And the other reason
Mm.
why I wanted to talk about Click was because Adam Sandler's character in that movie is the most powerful character in all of fiction.
Yeah, I know.
Really?
Yeah. I mean,
boy.
yeah, I can see that. But yeah, Click. I actually like that movie, so that's gonna be interesting to talk about. My defense of it.
So I'm
Okay.
actually the only
Next-
one that hasn't seen this, and I'm the one recommending it. It's not a first, but damn.
Yes, my crucifixion. 2 weeks in a row where I'm fighting for my life defending a movie that other people are mixed about. Okay.
Neato.
Click. Oh yeah. Let me think of a way to end out this episode. What a twist! It turns out this entire time you were listening to the Joe Rogan Experience. Waha!